Hi! We are live now, apparently. As is a certain bad guy. Lord Umbra has been released. I did my October spread on Saturday. No, on Friday. And I'm actually pretty proud of my little pumpkin over there. That has to be the prettiest pumpkin I've ever drawn.
Chapter 13. Dreams do come true. If Eileen hadn't met Freya, she'd probably have considered this, Bridget, to be the most attractive person she'd ever seen in real life.
We are out in the woods once more. It's just very convenient to film updates like this because I have nothing else to do while walking the dog and looking around like I'm paranoid or something. Come here. It's the last week of Adventurerathon and reading is just not happening as it should, I would say. I'm currently reading Assistant to the Villain. I am just over 100 pages in, and I really want to like it more than I am. Like, all the ingredients are there, but the cake is not being baked, if that makes sense. It's just not holding my attention. Now that may be because of the book, but it also may be because of me. There's no way in telling. Fuck off, plane. There's literally no way in telling if I'm the problem, if the book's the problem, I don't know. But the book is not holding my attention, and I'm never reading more than 2 or 3 chapters at a time. Oh my god, I am holy now. I never read more than 2 or 3 chapters at a time, and they are not that long. I say as I literally read a chapter that went on forever and ever. Anyways, so I'm reading Assistant to the Villain. It's funny, but something is just not clicking with me, and I don't necessarily think it's the book's fault for once. I'm also listening to the audiobook of The Spiral of Life by Francesca McMahon, which is a NetGalley arc, the audiobook that is. I think the book is already out. I'm not quite sure. It's either out or it's going to be out soon-ish. My brain tells me there's something happening on the 3rd of October. I don't know. When you see this vlog, it's already out. Probably. Hopefully. Maybe. I don't know. The Spiral of Life is a YA contemporary Celtic mythology portal fantasy with queer characters. Yeah, that's a good summary of it all. And that one's not clicking either. Mostly because I should just stop reading YA, and also this is the first portal fantasy I've ever read, but the whole concept of portal fantasy has never appealed to me, and turns out I'm right. Portal fantasy is just not my thing. I do have to say I'm a big fan of the Demon Kelpie. He's fun. He's a little sass queen, I love him. Also, fucking Cthulhu Demon Horse. That's literally how he's described in the book. Cthulhu Demon Horse. So I'm here for that. It's about a girl. Her name's Eileen. She's 17? She's 17 years old. And she has anger issues. And that is one of the good points I have about this book so far. I'm almost 50% through. And this book presents anger issues as the impulse control issue / disorder that it might be, and not the I am just a dick who can't control his anger and has to explain it with fists kind of way that we usually see. Like these anger issues, Eileen actually hates it when she gets violent, but she also can't help herself. And that's a very interesting peek at things. But the whole thing with the portal fantasy is I can deal with an urban fantasy where we have fantasy elements in an urban setting. She is traveling between our world and the other world, the Celtic other world. Some natural nature realm stuff. And I don't know. It's just, I love me a good pop culture reference. And this book does something that is akin to a pop culture reference, but it's not a pop culture reference. It just feels very, I don't know, too close to home, almost. I don't want to read about people being on Reddit, you know? I don't know. It's just weird. So I have like a handful of thoughts about this book, but nothing really coherent. And the main things I take from this is I need to stop reading YA, and I don't like portal fantasy. Was Spiral of Life on my TBR this month? No. I actually acquired it in the middle of the month, and now I'm listening to it on walkies. And I think it translates to 260 pages. So, given that I'm about to finish that one, I might count that for my first read against the big baddie of Adventurerathon. And since we get hit with a 200-page penalty, it only counts for 60, but that's fine because it's a book that I finished. It's probably the book I'm going to finish first, and I can count everything after that. Fuck off, plane. But yeah, chaotic little update right now. Fuck off. I see you later.
Chapter 20. Time is running out. Blood coated Eileen's vision. No matter how many times she wiped the bloody sweat from her face, the hands and vision were still glazed red. She kept running, with Bardane and Freya right behind her.
It's shroom season.
Okay, but part of me just sounds so cool. They do. It is such a cool concept, and I hate the fact that the subgenre of flintlock fantasy doesn't have more people writing in it. Like, technically, Mistborn Era 2 is a flintlock fantasy, but I haven't read it yet. I will never read it because Brandon Sanderson can go other places. So I don't know how much flintlock fantasy that actually is, or if it's just fantasy where people happen to use guns. The Shadow Campaigns by Django Wexler is more flintlock than fantasy, at least in the first book, and I cannot get my hands on the other 4 in the series, which is bugging me for years at this point. Brian McClellan is like the flintlock fantasy author with those books, because it's the perfect blend of fantasy and magic and just the concept of having gunpowder weapons. I just love it. It's so cool. I need more people to read this. Like, I know a couple of people have read this. Like, it's just that no one talks about it. No one is talking about it, but like, you have incredible action scenes, not just between like 2 characters fighting, you have that a lot, but you have like whole armies clashing and strategy games going on the battlefield, but also a strong political storyline, especially in the first trilogy. And it's interesting to see this. Like, it's also explaining a lot of stuff when it comes to Napoleonic warfare, because these are based on Napoleonic warfare. If you look at the uniforms, let's say this one. Like, you see that? That's a very Napoleonic rifle, and the uniform is also very Napoleonic. And that's actually a key trait, I'd say, of flintlock fantasy, that they are placed in a Napoleonic warfare setting. So they explain a lot of the actual machinery and the way wars were fought. Yes, I can only recommend that if you want a big political war action fantasy, get the Powder Mage trilogy and the follow-up trilogy as well. Listen, I could single-handedly run the PR for anything Brian McClellan writes. At this point, I just love these books so damn much. It's not even funny. I mean, it is, but it isn't, you know? So,
I'm about to head to pick up the dog for walkies. But before I do that, I wanted to make a little vlog update because I've been pretty quiet today, this week. Sorry about that. And honestly, that's due to the fact because I just didn't feel like filming, and then I forgot about the fact that I should be filming, so just So on Monday I tried doing sprints for the first time in my life. Didn't go so well if you were there. I keep the video up because we can all learn from our mistakes, blah blah blah. So that was a train wreck. So I immediately set out to learn how streaming works on StreamYard, and I did, and I rescheduled the stream for Tuesday, and the stream on Tuesday worked. That was cool. I had fun, I guess. I did some reading on stream actually, not a lot, but I did some reading. But yeah, now that I know how it works, I'm probably going to have more streams happening in the future. And yeah, if you look behind me, I rearranged my Brian McClellan shrine on that stream because one person asked about about mage novels, and I went on a whole ass PR rant and sold the whole series. Again, Brian, if you need help with the PR team, I'm here. I'm willing to work in exchange for being able to read your books. Text me. But yeah, I rearranged it from like the V position thing to this beautiful thing. We have the prequels, the first trilogy, the second trilogy. I'm still reading Wrath of Empire, don't ask about it. And I now moved the first edition hardback of In the Shadow of Lightning, which is the new series he's writing, from my English hardback section over here that you can't see. So I'm just doing a weird shoulder wiggle, and I moved it over here. And now it is an actual Brian McClellan shrine. But yeah, why am I updating you now? Because I actually finished a read. I actually finished reading something. Midnight Fantasy 6 by Neneko Narazaki. I just, on a whim, last night, very late, was like 11 p.m, picked it up, read it in one go. Coolio. It was less porn than I expected it to be honest. Like, we took the jealousy a bit more serious than we took the sex part of the whole thing. So that was surprising. Not in a bad way. Well, not in a bad way, just surprising. And I have to say, the storyline was actually kind of cute. And it was less the professor that was jealous. I thought the professor is going to be the one who's jealous, but no, he was just like, okay, listen, this guy is hot. He was hetero until he met you. I am bisexual and I had the hots for him first, so you better start fighting for him, bitch. And then the actual partner was like, oh no, what am I going to do? And was a little scaredy bunny about it because he's just a student in a master's program, and it was like, oh no, I literally can't offer anything to you. But in the end, true love prevailed, of course. So there was actually quite some drama going on. I was pleasantly surprised. But yeah, that one is check mark and yeet, and I dealt full damage with this one to Umbra, which is 190 something pages. I already logged it. And fuck you, Umbra, for saying that our current read doesn't count. I have a mirror and I am not afraid to use it, bitch. But yeah, other than that, I did not make a lot of progress. I read, I think, 1 chapter of Assistant to the Villain and 50 pages of Wrath of Empire since the last time I talked about it. Yeah. Oh, I did also, haha, I just remembered. I did finish an audiobook, The Spiral of Life by Francesca McMahon. I talked about this in an update before. I finished that one. It's a NetGalley audiobook thing, and it's hard to put my thoughts into a coherent thing about that. I think I have to sit on that for a while longer, and write it down to form a coherent single sentence. let alone a paragraph, let alone a review that I need to write for NetGalley. I need to write reviews for NetGalley. You know, no one is talking about that part. Everyone is like, I have so many books I need to read for NetGalley. No one is talking about the fact that you have to write a bajillion reviews at some point. That's the harder part. Finished Midnight Jealousy Sex. Finished Spiral of Life. And now I don't know what else to read, so I will probably, hopefully, chop away at Wrath of Empire until I pick up my next read. I don't know. Okay, cool. I need to go pick up the dog. See you in the next update.
A Song to Drown Rivers by Ann Liang. Read for you by Natalie Naudis.
Excuse the look. I had a little ADHD moment and decided to completely declutter everything that is on top of my shelves. This is part of it. I also started decluttering inside of my closet, and I'm also doing stuff on top of my bookshelves. Remember the ugly plant? I now cleaned this out. The two thingies that were here are now up there. I still have to sort through them, but for now I have yotened them over there. But with all of this room now, I can finally move my mangas up in the way that I wanted to do for a long time. And if we go up here, I have these, I don't even know what was in there. I think it was like screws and shit for when we got new furniture for the living room. But they are the perfect height to basically do 2 rows of mangas, so this is what I'm going to do right now. This is the final result. This is what we have to work with. Of course, Soul Eater in the front. And these are omnibus editions, which have like 3 volumes of the original series in one. I have to get my hands on the other ones. Stupid feather. My comics. My little Funko collection, and I actually now have room to just have this standing here. In case you didn't know, I love the Magnus archives. I have more mangas over here. And at one point I want to have them up there as well, but I don't know where to put Edward yet, so they stick there for a hot second. And this is the shelf that they were occupying before. It's so empty now. Guess I have to read more books.
12 seconds later.
Take a wild guess at who forgot a whole stack of manga. So I was in the process of doing my laundry because apparently clothes need to be washed on a regular basis. But I got book mail. I ordered a couple of books at the beginning of the week. Mainly the John Gwynne books, The Faithful and the Fallen. I have book 1 in German, which is a chonker. But this is an 18-buck book, and all of the books in the series are 18 bucks. And this series is the next pick for the Catch Up Book Club by Becca and a bunch of other lovely people. I tried to participate in the last round, which was the Joe Abercrombie books, but I read the first trilogy and I was incredibly bored, and so I didn't continue, and now they're done with that, and now they pick up John Gwynne. So I ordered the first 4 books, I think it's like a finished series, but then there is another like follow-up trilogy or something, because they were on sale, I guess, for 30 bucks. And then I was like, but what if I order something more? That's what I'm doing right now, unpacking that. The John Gwynne books are going to show up next week because they are imported from the UK, so it takes them a while to get here. Oh my god, this stuff is incredibly sticky. Blah, and it smells. The glue is disgusting in this one. Ew, I don't know. I'm going to wash my hands before I touch my book with this. Okay, cool. Now, how to get you out without touching the glue. This is tricky. You know what, I could just use a knife. But that would be easy, right? Just don't cut the book. This was, as I said, more of an impulse buy after I ordered the Fate and Fallen. It's the 3rd book in the Guide to Dating Vampires by D.N. Bryn. This is How to Bare Your Neck and Save a Wreck. It's one of my few anticipated reads to come out. And I am very excited to have this in my hand now, because that means I own the whole trilogy. Not in paperback, I only own book 2 and 3 in paperback, but I own the whole trilogy now. First one I had as an ebook, and then I decided, nope, I need this physically in my fingers. So here we are, look at this gorgeous, gorgeous cover. And in book 3 we have, I believe, a trans non-binary or a trans mask main character. I'm not quite sure. I just remembered it's a trans main character that's falling in love with a vampire. Vampires! Yes. Spicy vampires! But make it queer! And also, fuck you, Big Pharma! Yay! The book mail!
1 eternity later.
It's been a while. I haven't updated this vlog in almost 2 weeks. It is not September anymore. It hasn't been September in a hot second. So with every passing day at the end of September, like the SmackDown end of September, I just didn't feel like filming, period. I still read what I needed to read, but I just didn't feel like filming. So first and foremost, hooray! We won against Lord Umbra. The bitch died hard, so that was cool. I finished Wrath of Vampire on the 30th so I really stretched that as long as I could. Great read. Great read. I was gasping at the end of this book. Things happened. Really cool things, really epic things, really shocking things. We had a reveal in here that I was not prepared for. Wow. Yes. So, yay me for finishing Wrath of Empire on time. And before I finished Wrath of Empire, I finished Vox Machina Origins Volume 3. One random evening because I felt like it. So I read it. Yeah. I don't even know what I did with that. I think I counted all of it and then added 100 pages for a knife or something. I don't know. I completely lost track of what I did to Lord Umbra and what the bitch did to me. The last 3 days of September just erased all of my memory. So yeah, that's it. That's the Adventurerathon. It's over. It was fun for me. I hope it was fun for y'all. We already have ideas for what is going to happen next, and that's fun. There were some really fun ideas happening in the planning center. Vlogging the whole thing was a weird experience as well. It was the first time I really did weekly vlogs. Kind of liked it. Kind of exhausting, to be honest, but yeah. I guess I see you in the next video, and I see you in the next round of Adventurerathon. Bye!